Friends, thank you for joining us today. My name is Sunil and this is Ask a Priest. This is a ministry out of Christ Episcopal Church, and we thank you for coming and joining us today. So, in Ask a Priest, you ask a priest a question, and I'm the priest, and so I try to answer the question that you ask. And one of the first questions that comes out to us today is, how do I become an Episcopalian? Well, that's a good question. I think it's a question that's relevant to us, especially in the Episcopal Church and at Christ Church in Westerly, where I am the rector and priest. This is an important question for those who are coming into our church and visiting from other traditions, whether mostly from the Catholic or the Baptist or the Congregational or even the Lutheran Church, or even sometimes people just come from just not even coming from a particular tradition, but just they're drawn to spirituality in some sense. And so, they come into our church and they engage in these folks come in and they hear the sermon, they listen to the beautiful music that's ancient and also compelling and relevant to our days. And then we have this wonderful liturgy and a sense of community that's engaged as all these people worship in church. And then we go, of course, to the another liturgical experience, which is after our official service is over, we go into coffee hour and we engage in conversation with people. They connect. People just connect with one another. And so when a new person to our church comes in, they sense this community, and they sense also the joy and the hope that's present in our community, as well as this idea that we're created for something deeper, a deeper purpose, not just for simply existing, but for living with a purpose that's divine, given to us by God. And so eventually, as people come to our church, and they come often, and then they ask, well, how do I become an Episcopalian? Well, in our church, how we do it is we ask you then, after engagement in the community for a while, after you've experienced the worship, we ask you to join us in our Episcopal 101 course, which is a course that we offer just on the basics of who we are as an Episcopal Church. What do we believe? What do we stand for? And our history, some of the theologies that govern us in our relationship with God and with one another. And so we ask you to take that course, and then we enter into a deeper conversation with you. And then you might at that time consider joining the Episcopal Church officially. Usually that course is between 4 and 6 weeks. And sometimes we offer an Episcopal 102 course for those who want to go into a deeper understanding, a deeper dive into the theologies governing the Episcopal Church. So eventually, this becomes, for newcomers, this could be the entranceway into our church. And then as you enter into it, and as we enter into a deeper conversation, you might consider being either confirmed if you're coming from a tradition that doesn't confirm people of faith. If you are, say, Catholic and you've had baptism and confirmation, then you are received into the Episcopal Church, and then through a bishop, an experience with our bishop when he comes and does services with us. And then at that time, if you are a lapsed Episcopalian, or if you have been, just restarting your experience, you've already been confirmed and baptized in the Episcopal tradition, you could reaffirm your faith as you re-engage it. Or you could just, if you're coming from a tradition that only baptizes, then you'd actually then go through confirmation, experience of confirmation. And then finally, of course, if you come from no tradition at all and you're a spiritual seeker and you come to our church, you start to see the joy, the hope that's present here. Also, the connection with a larger idea of purpose and meaning, then you might consider being baptized and then confirmed in the Episcopal Church. And so all of those are ways in which you are coming into the Episcopal Church as part of its membership. And then the idea is that, and really the idea is that after, say, reaffirmation, confirmation, baptism, or baptism, confirmation, or reception, your learning doesn't end there. We enter, it's the beginning of a relationship with you and God, and week in and week out, you are learning something new about the world, about how God lives in the world, how God is embodied in the world and in your experience, and then you start to think and talk about it in this community of faith, as we talk about how Jesus embodied or incarnated God in the midst of community. And so in this community, you constantly are learning and growing, becoming who God hopes you to become as an Episcopalian. So I think that's a bit of a nutshell. It's it's simple, but it's also complicated. And so at the very least, it's the beginning of a relationship. And I hope that this answers some of the questions you might have about how you become an Episcopalian. And we're looking forward to having you come to our church and continue to be in this conversation as we all grow together to what God hopes we would become. God bless you.
Thanks for watching. Did you know that you can join Christ Church from anywhere in the world? If you're feeling connected to what we're doing, email us today at communicate@christchurchwesterly.org.